Our first speaker is Chris Charbonneau, CEO of Planned Parenthood of the Great Northwest and the Hawaiian Islands, who's a fierce advocate and champion of reproductive rights. She has worked in this movement for more than 30 years and has built a successful organization to prove it. So welcome, Chris.
Hello, Seattle. It's so awesome to have all our friends in a room. I wanted to acknowledge the protesters on the outside. You might have noticed that they are for choice. They thought they'd come, put a little shoulder to the mission here, and everyone at first thought they're our opposition friends, but they are in fact our friends. Or as one of the police guards said, for-testers. It's like, yeah. I'm stealing it. I'm going to say that. So anyway, so that you're not freaked or worried or whatever, those are us out there. They're just hanging out in worse weather. So thank you all for coming tonight. It's a real pleasure to be here. As we're going to say over and over again, 43 years. It has not been without its adventures. I'm anointing everybody here honorary virgins for the evening. In case you were thinking of lobbying later, we had a little trouble with somebody who had a problem with talking to non-virgins in Olympia. So, you know, consider yourselves taken care of. We're here to talk about Roe v. Wade and the challenges to it. And let me tell you, from my perspective, with our 28 health centers in 4 states, if the Supreme Court goes the wrong way, we're going to be a destination for a lot of women that are going to be in a world of hurt. And we want women to be able to get the caring reproductive health care that they have coming to them wherever they live in the United States. We will not go back. So 43 years ago today, the court ruled that abortion was a right as fundamental in our Constitution as the right of freedom of speech and the right of freedom of religion. And with this ruling, the court imposed the highest degree of constitutional protection for anybody seeking to curtail this fundamental right. And in the last 30 years that I've been working on this, you know, I sort of feel like we've come a very long way from the days when people used to smuggle diaphragms into the country in pickle vats. Although we're up for that, you know, if it goes wrong. There's never been a more crucial time for us to stand united against these sorts of attacks and harming access to abortion. In the upcoming session, the U.S. Supreme Court is poised to make another historic ruling, and we think that's going to be in June, which could impact abortion rights for decades to come. They are going to take a look at 2 provisions in a Texas law. You know, Texans keep threatening to secede. And it's like, okay, fine. But for the moment, they have it, so they're in the plan. And they have passed a rule that basically bans abortion services, makes it incredibly unwieldy for the women of Texas. So that case is called Whole Woman's Health v. Cole. And it would have widespread impact and spell out all kinds of clinic regulations that states would be allowed to use to restrict access to abortion as an outpatient procedure. And you might know that in Texas, should this pass, we would be down to a fraction of the number of clinics that are open there today for over 5.25 million women who might need them, which is really untenable. So while abortion is legal, it could be effectively banned for many women. And that can't be what it is to be a woman living in 21st century America. Planned Parenthood is going to celebrate it. Yeah, you can clap for that. That's right. We're going to celebrate our 100th year in 2016. So we're 100 years old, but still interested in sex. Woo! But there's plenty more work to be done, and it's time to move beyond the fundamental arguments and into innovation of developing women's health care. Stakes for women's access to legal abortion are higher than ever, but while we do this fight, we need to be sure that we're innovating and meeting people with new and exciting technologies where they are so that we can get that done. To that end, we'll be suing the state of Idaho to ensure that they that was just on general principle. We didn't actually have an issue. No, I'm just kidding. We'll be suing the state of Idaho to ensure that telemedicine must also include the right to abortion over the service. And by changing the way we deliver care, more women will be able to access the service when they need it, which is very important, without leaving home and driving hundreds of miles, which is very important. So we need to reframe this movement for the next century, and we need your help to do it. Today, we need to create a world where sons and daughters don't have to repeat the same fights that we've all been fighting for all these years. And tonight, we're going to hear from a number of women who are helping to do just that, because I don't know about you, but I really feel that if people knew the people who needed to make these decisions, they would be a lot more generous in their support of choice. So tonight, we're going to introduce you to some of those fabulous storytellers, and I want you to know that you're helping to destigmatize abortion and humanize women and families who choose abortion. And I want to thank you to all our speakers and the storytellers, and a huge thanks to you, the audience, for your huge support over the many, many decades for reproductive rights. We have a great program for you, so let's get it started. Thank you very much.